Okay, I'm at the lower end of Tire Tube Cave. Notice that the walls and the ceiling are made of rock, but the floor is made of dried mud. I was just commenting the obvious that who knows how deep this mud is. I mean, if you were to dig out the mud, this cave darn well could go 20 more miles or something. Not likely, and obviously it violates the zero trace ethic, but something to ponder. But yeah, the ceiling here, excuse me, bit uneven. Notice how the middle here has been worn out a little bit by people walking through. According to the registry, the last people to visit here were like 4 months ago. But anyway. But most of the cave is super easy. I mean, look at this floor. It's flat. Very flat. I mean, you could drive a car through here if you get in. So right now I'm standing up. So the ceiling is at least 8 feet tall, and the walls are like 30 feet apart at the base. Obviously an arch shape to it. Notice how the whole floor, except for damage to the footprints, is mostly dried mud. And then here there's small hills with little craters from water and sand dripping in from above. Or not sand, water and dirt dripping in from above. Now this cave only has one entrance. So I just came in, obviously, from the entrance. I didn't see any sign of wildlife. No bats, no rabbits, no rattlesnakes, nothing. So I can use my normal talking voice. I don't have to be like quiet or anything like that. Wouldn't expect any other people, too. You can tell by the roads. So here we are, where the ceiling isn't so even. Notice there's a lot of little lava stalactites, some like 3 inches long, most of them about a 1/4 inch wide. Look at this one, there's like 2 that join together, so it's shaped like a wishbone or tuning fork or something. So it's a really cool cave because it hasn't been horribly vandalized. At the end, people have vandalized the end to put their name, sign in or whatever, but other than that, the cave looks pretty pristine. There isn't like graffiti all over the place. Redmond Caves, Redmond, Oregon, that's right next to the Redmond Airport. It's a city park. Man, that place is horribly vandalized. It is a good beginner cave though, because it has like 6 entrances. And it's just big enough you can't quite get lost, but you can try. Anyway, here's a nice ledge or balcony up there. I wouldn't be able to get up there. That's got to be close to 10 feet high. The ceiling here, I would say, has got to be close to, 15 or more feet tall. Hopefully someday I'll get the 3D scanner so I can be more scientific about that. My eyeballs are not calibrated. Notice how the floor is almost completely flat except for this serpentine pattern. So I'm pretty sure that during the rainy season or whatever wet season, that there's actually a creek flowing through here. But the road is even worse than this floor. So I would not attempt to drive over here in the rainy season to try to see that. Now if I owned a helicopter, that could be another story. But I seem to be fresh out of funds for a helicopter right now. Oh man, got a runny nose. Notice there's a pile of rocks here. And then there's kind of a mess on the ceiling right there. So obviously those rocks, they were part of the ceiling, but as this place formed, it just wasn't quite strong enough to hold together, and plop, down it went. And it didn't go very far. Sometimes if there's still lava flowing, you can see the rocks actually move a bit because they went along with the flow. And then they can even get solidified in place, what we call welded in place. Here's more rocks here, almost in a straight line, just to match that sort of area up there. In a way, this cave is cool because it's so dang huge and easy, but in other ways, it's kind of boring because all the dirt in here, dust, it covers up the color. You can't see what kind of cool colors the rocks were. A lot of times if you go in a clean cave, the rocks are all sorts of cool pastels, like pink and stuff. Not super bright, but definitely not this dull brown and gray. Just depends on what the rock. Now notice this pile of rocks right here. And here we are, a nice big hole in the ceiling there. So it should be obvious where these rocks came from, straight up. But it's perfectly safe now. This all happened when the cave was forming. So here's that serpentine pattern in the floor again. As you can see, that trench is maybe 4 inches deep, so we're not talking about a flash flood here. Well, I mean, not something that would drown you, but just enough to be really cool pictures and videos if somehow you got to see it. And here's another pile of breakdown rocks. So again, you should, oh shoot, there's a bat. Okay, I'm gonna have to be quiet now, darn it. I didn't see it earlier. Hope I didn't disturb it. So I'm just gonna go straight out to not bug the bat. Whoops. Well, the rule is if you see a bat, you should try to keep 30 feet away. Here, I'd say the ceiling is 30 feet tall. So I think I did my part. That bat's obviously awake, so obviously it's not hibernating for the winter yet. Normally bats sleep during the day, so it's possible it's flying around because I woke it up. Whoops. Here, look at the floor. You can actually see the solid rock floor. Notice how it's not perfectly flat. It's curved to it. And these different flow lines, that means it flowed this cave multiple levels, shallower and shallower until it drained empty. Of course, it's entirely possible there's another level below us, but I've never heard of that here. I don't know, I've only been in 2 of the caves in the system, so there's a lot about this system I don't know. Since it's in the middle of nowhere, it's pretty well protected. So supposedly scientists are studying it, but I don't know, I haven't read any scientific study of this place for 20 years. Not really a lot of budget for geology these days, unless you're looking for oil or natural gas, I guess. Notice the floor here. Seems like to be a mixture of rock and dirt. Over here where the water was flowing, the dirt washed away, leaving just the rocks. Interesting. Okay. So, I wish I had an inertial guidance system or something so I could measure how long this cave is. It seems pretty long. In fact, I'll look at the map later and see how long it is. But I mean, I don't see any sign of natural light yet. So obviously we're not anywhere near, well, the entrance. Anyway. Notice the sort of ledges or balconies here on the left. It'd be kind of difficult to climb up there. I'm not gonna bother to try. It's too steep. I'd, slip off easily. Sometimes caves, they got a really wide balcony. You can get up there and walk around, enjoy the view. But I'm gonna try to be safe, especially considering I'm in the middle of nowhere. Ooh, I see natural light ahead, just barely. I would say it's at least 500 feet ahead. It's pretty far. At the entrance to this cave, there's actually a natural bridge too. My cameras are still behaving. Oh, you know what? One of my cameras not even running right now. Let me turn it back on. My 3D camera is a piece of junk. Anyway. Yeah, hear that beep? It already turned itself off. Piece of garbage. Well, let me see if I can turn it on. Notice here, there's huge rocks on the ground.